Today we will be talking about Theodre Dreiser's publication of Sister Carrie. Theodre Dreiser's 1900 publication of Sister Carrie presents dialogues on capitalism, class, and feminine experience in the American realist tradition. His work remains relevant to his readers today in its critical commentaries on materialistic values and presentation of social commentaries that resonate with the American reader. For those unfamiliar with Dreiser's work, his dialogue on writers and readership remain recorded among those of his counterparts, the likes of Henry James and William Dean Howells. Dreiser argues in True Art Speaks Plainly that the extent of all reality is the realm of the author's pen, not to be obscured by intellectual ignorance or personal greed. His commentary on writing is brief, to say the least, but his writing in Sister Carrie lacks true brevity. Sister Carrie is set roughly 10 years earlier than the publication. It is set in 1889 and is a story based off the scandalous elopement of Dreiser's sister. The main character, Carrie, elopes from an impoverished Chicago tenement to the middle-class apartment life of New York City. Dreiser begins his dialogue on American materialism in his discussion of the meaning of money. From the start of the book, the young, naive Carrie soon finds that her most marketable asset is herself, and the temporary pleasures of the city and the hollow desires for money soon become the driving force of her cravings for status and class. The reader is called to question what is the true value of money, and how does Carrie's fixation upon it ultimately undermine her character. Dreiser's description of the shoe factory and working conditions remains accurate, as does his description of the tenements in Chicago where Carrie lived. His commentary on the new socialism that hasn't yet taken hold remains notable. The author presents Carrie as a character motivated by her desire for entertainments and an amenable lifestyle rather than by larger career goals or greater fundamental beliefs. This becomes problematic as Carrie soon begins marketing herself to men rather than marketing talents to further her own conditions in the efforts to escape working class poverty. She and her two male counterparts, Druitt, a salesman, and Hurstwood, a manager, are drawn by the desirability of improving class status to enter the middle class. Similar to Carrie's desire for material goods is her desire for class status, her longing for things. The constant repetition of Carrie's assessment of others' shoes after her short stint at the shoe factory feeds into the wider critique of materialism and social class. Dreiser's presentation of the walled city and the old rich versus the new youth shows how materialism and class become connected in capitalist society, and furthers the larger commentary on poverty, wealth, and social class. Along Carrie and Hurstwood's downward spiral in social status and class, there are truly few level places. Dreiser's presentation of Mrs. Hurstwood and Carrie present women as themselves material holders of status and fortune, superficial and ornamental objects whose characters are hollow and empty in relationship to the very class and status they maintain through inheritance and marriage. The reader is ultimately brought to the conclusion, through Ames's character, that the materialistic values of capitalist society undermine those of human kindness. Ames himself is a student of this, and worked to perpetuate and undermine the hollow, materially driven characters within the novel. Whether they fit into society's crowd or not, American society is depicted as lacking in content outside of materialistic values and existence. Dreiser's dialogues on working class conditions, feminine roles, and societal class distinctions and poverty create an awareness of human participation within a larger society, and present critiques and critical viewpoints both of the society of his day and of American society as a whole. They encourage his reader to re-examine the fundamental principles and nature of their society, and to re-examine the value of which meaning and happiness is truly comprised, in a world that places a strong emphasis on ownership, on the haves and the have-nots. I hope you'll enjoy this reading of Theodre Dreiser's Sister Carrie.